Welcome to Richmond Raceway. Welcome to the first race in the Short Track Super League Truck Series. We've just come off the modified race in Bristol, and here we are on the same night. A bunch of the same guys are showing up for this truck race here in Richmond as well. Our season opener for our second season. We're going to be looking at a race of 150 laps here at Richmond Raceway. We're going to be doing qualifying here shortly. They will have 2 laps to qualify. And we see currently 13 drivers enlisted in this race here. And currently it looks like it's Jake Brooks that has the quickest time here in practice with a 22.03. And then it's Brent Allen here in the 32 that's running second currently. And let me double check something really quickly. And it looks like Brandon Hughes is running third here, and it's really convenient for me that they're running the same numbers as in the modifieds. The 111 car of Brandon Hughes, and we see Jordan Berry coming in the number 7 car here. So a bunch of the same guys, not all of them obviously. We had a field of 21 starters there in the modifieds, and we're currently looking at 13 drivers here for the trucks. Samuel Fontaine was there, he came in third. Jordan Berry was in second place there in the modifieds. And Kyle Eli was the winner in the modifieds. I do not see Kyle here. And we had Jeff Warniak there, Matthew Telder in the O2. And it's they still have a little bit of time. 3 minutes left here in practice, and then we'll be going into qualifying, and they can join the race until qualifying ends. So let's take a look at the race information for the Richmond Raceway. We have a 3/4 mile D-shaped oval here. It is currently 77 degrees Fahrenheit. The relative humidity is 65%. It's a partly cloudy sky, and we have 2-mile-an-hour winds. That's not very significant. The track temperature is currently shown as 79 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not a very hot track, and that is always good for the drivers because it rubbers in a lot better and it doesn't get as slippery. So that's good news for the drivers. As said, we're going to be doing 150 laps. The drivers will be running fixed setups, which means that they cannot change anything on the suspensions of the cars and the springs and all that. The only thing they can change is the brake bias, which divides the brake pressure between the front and the rear tires. They will be given 3 sets of tires for the race, so they're going to have to do that 150 lap race on a maximum of 3 tire sets. And let's see. Restarts will all be double file, and the lapped cars will be taken to the back end of the pack. And if necessary, we're going to be doing 2 attempts of a green-white checkered if we need to do so. There will be no fast repairs in this race, so any damage that the drivers pick up is going to have to be dealt with in the pits by repairs. iRacing obviously calculates time for those repairs. And if the car is beyond repairing, then that's going to be it for them. All right, 30 seconds ticking away until we get into qualifying. And still Jake Brooks, who was running strong in the modifieds as well, he is still on the top of the timesheets here in practice. So the qualifying will be done individually. The drivers will not be able to see each other, but we can pick up any driver that is on the track. All right, and practice time has been completed. We will be going into qualifying. And it looks like Michael Steffen is the first one out on the track in the 669 car. And I do believe he's got his numbers backwards because he was driving the 97 in the modifieds, and now that is the number that he's shown on the scoring. And Michael is having a little trouble getting going there. Let's take a look at Matthew Telder in the 02 car. He's out on the track for his attempt. Driver's only given 2 laps here because it's a bit longer track and tires should be warm enough by the time they get around the first time. But it does look like that Matthew has a little bit of trouble with that. And he has not posted a time just yet. Well, let's see if we can find anybody else. It looks like Kevin Davis is the first one to post a time in the 21 car. And he is quickly surpassed by Brandon Hughes in the 111. It looks like they're kind of loose coming off of those turns. And also even loose coming in. The trucks are loose, generally speaking, on fixed setup. And it looks like Bradley Minor has now picked up that second position. Kevin Davis in third. Michael Steffen picks up that third. No, it goes quicker than you think. Telder is bringing it up there. Jake Brooks, it looks like he has picked up second position. And let's see here. Kevin Davis is back in the pits. Michael Steffen has picked up fifth. And Jordan Berry is out there on the track getting started. It looks like they're having a little bit of an issue with oversteer. And they're going to have to be careful. Yeah, the cars are very loose here. Jordan Berry is still on his first lap. Let's see if we can pick up his time here. And it looks like he has posted a 5th position time here in qualifying. And now it's Mark Herzog coming by him in the 57 car. That pushes Berry down to 6th. We have 10 drivers that have posted a time. Brant Allen is still out there in the 32. Jordan Berry now brings it up into 2nd position with his 2nd lap, immediately being overtaken by Samuel Fontaine in the 91 car. So it's Hughes, Fontaine, and Berry as your top 3 drivers here. Brant Allen in the 32 still out to set a lap. That's his first lap, and that brings him up to 2nd position now with a 22.35. Mark Herzog is still out there in the 57. It looks like he is coming back in. He's done with his attempt. Brent Allen still has a lap to go. Coming back on the end of his... that's not going to be a quicker lap, obviously. 23 seconds. So it looks like the guys are having a little bit of trouble with a loose back end there. It looked like from what we could pick up here this quickly. So we'll have to wait and see how that is going to pan out in the race. It might be that with the track being fairly cool that they are having trouble warming those tires up. So it may take a couple of laps for the heat to build up in those tires to get to working temperature. We'll have to wait and see. The track temperature has gone down to 78 degrees even. So it's a cool night here under the lights in Richmond Raceway. So we'll have to wait and see how all this plays out. Final seconds of qualifying are ticking away now. Half a minute to go, and it doesn't look like we're going to have any more takers. We have 13 cars that'll enter this truck race. First race of the season. It's their second season here at Short Track Super League, and we're going to be doing these modifieds and trucks back to back on Thursday night for you. We should be going live just before 6:30 Eastern time every Thursday night, and then back to back races until we're done. So we hope you enjoy this league. We hope you enjoy this style of racing. Fairly short tracks, all none longer than this one here. All right, let's take a quick look at your grid for the race. And the guys are already getting ready to line them up here. On the pole position, it is Brandon Hughes. Alongside him will be Brent Allen in the number 32 car, and then on the second row it'll be Samuel Fontaine in the 91, Jordan Berry in the 7. On the third row it'll be Jake Brooks in the 4 and Bradley Miner in the 24. On the fourth row it's going to be Jeff Horniak in the 61 and Mark Herzog in the 57. On the fifth row, it's going to be Kevin Anderson in the 81 and Matthew Telder in the 02. On the sixth row, it's going to be Michael Steffen on the 97 and Kevin Davis in the 21. And in the final spot, it will be Jacob Shockley in the 48. And I don't believe that Jacob has posted a time in qualifying, but that's quite all right. So not a huge field, but I'm sure we're going to see some good racing here. I have not seen Jacob Shockley come in, so we may only have 12 cars here running this race. Jake Brooks, your pole sitter, and it looks like Jake has a bit of a connection issue. And it looks like my scoring's a little bit off here. Hopefully this will reset once we get the green flag. We have 2 warm-up laps. The lights on the pace car are out. And it's showing Jake Brooks there in the number 4 car, but that is not correct. Let's see if that scoring sorts itself out once we get racing. It is Brandon Hughes in front there in the 111 car. There we go. We are racing. We're on lap 1. It's Brandon Hughes in the lead. There is something wrong with scoring, so I'm going to reload that real quick. And I apologize for the little hesitation in scoring here, but we needed to reload that. It's Brandon Hughes. It looks like it's working good now, and the problem may be that Jake Brooks did not take the start. It's Brandon Hughes is your leader, followed by Brent Allen and Samuel Fontaine in third. It's Jordan Berry in fourth. Mark Herzog is in fifth. It's Miner in sixth. Anderson is in seventh, and Horniak is in eighth. Then it's Davis, Telder, Steffen, and Brooks is running, and he's shown here in the 57 car. He's got the wrong number on his car, and Shockley is not running. So it's Hughes in the lead. Glad we got that sorted out. We are on lap 4 in this race, and let's take a look and see how the cars are behaving for these guys. Let's ride along here quickly with Brent Allen and take a look at his hands and see whether he is fighting that oversteer in that car or not. He looks like he is doing okay. And it may have been indeed that the tires took a couple of laps to warm up. It looks like they're doing okay now. So Brent Allen in second position, and it looks like Brandon Hughes in the 111 car has about 7/10 of a second on him right now. There you see the gap. And then in third position, it is Brent Jordan, and it looks like Brent Jordan is coming under threat of Mark Herzog in the 57 car. Then it's Samuel Fontaine, and it looks like Samuel has dropped back quite a bit in the 91 car. He started in third, so no, he didn't start in third. He's picked up a bunch of positions. I'm not sure what's going on here with scoring. The 91 of Samuel Fontaine is still in fifth. It's Jordan Berry out in the 7. And it looks like Jordan is still trying that higher line on this track as well, but it doesn't seem to be working as well as he would have hoped. It's the 57 of Mark Herzog fighting him for that position. And it does look like the 7 gets off the turns fairly well, but not quite fast enough. And let's see here. It looks like Herzog is now well ahead of Jordan Berry. Berry now in 4th. Fontaine is in 5th. It's Minor in 6th. And up ahead, it's still Brandon Hughes in control here with about 0.8 of a second on Brandon Allen. So that seems to be a stable situation there. It's Mark Herzog in the 57 still being followed by Jordan Berry. Let's ride along with Jordan here and take a look at how his car seems to be behaving. And it looks like it's working fairly nicely. He's not working that wheel all that hard. He likes to be a little bit higher, but now it looks like he takes that inside line. And you can hear the tire scrub a little bit. It looks to me, it looks like he gets loose there a little bit. You can see him counter steer coming off the turn. Jordan Berry in the 7 car, still in 4th position, and it looks like Samuel Fontaine is closing in on him a little bit. It's Bradley Minor in the 24 car that is in 6th, and he's coming under threat of the 81 of Kevin Anderson. Then it's Kevin Davis, Matthew Telder, Jeff Horniak, and Michael Steffen, the 669. It's Jake Brooks in the final position, and it looks like Jake is having a little trouble keeping up. Brandon Hughes is still in front, and it looks like Brandon Allen has narrowed that gap down to about 0.3 of a second now. He is gaining on the leader, and it looks like those tires are coming in. Brent is going to try to put some pressure on Brandon here. Further back, we see Mark Herzog in the 3rd position. It looks like he is walking away from Berry a little bit. Let's see if we can show that to you. Yeah, it looks like Berry is not keeping up with Herzog here. Let's bring her back up front because Brant Allen seems to be closing in on the leader, and he might be starting to challenge Brandon here. Lap 15 of 150. As said, they're going to have to manage their tires. They only get 3 sets this race. Let's see if Brandon can bring it any closer here. Here you're riding along with Brant Allen, the 2nd place car. And it sounds to me like he's really easy and gentle on that throttle. And he's hanging with the leader good now. He's not coming any closer. Ooh, the leader touches the wall. And it looks like we're going to have a lead change because the 111 scraped the wall. Let's bring that back for you real quickly here. He gets into the wall, sparks flying, loses a little bit of speed, and the number 2 gets, the 32, gets underneath him and picks up that lead. And you're back live, and the 32 has definitely put it in front of the 111 right now. It is Brent Allen in the lead. And the number 111 there, right behind him, right on his tail, and it looks like Mark Herzog is gaining on these 2 guys as well in the background there. Jordan Berry is a little bit further back. The 57 of Herzog is definitely gaining on the leaders. So Brandon Hughes had a bit of a moment there. Hopefully his car is not too damaged. You can see a little bit of an issue there with the sheet metal, but this track is not fast enough for that to be a big problem for him. Brent Allen is your leader. We're on lap 20 right now, 20 of 150. And we're seeing some movement back here. It looks like Matthew Teller has caught up with Kevin Davis, and that is for your 8th and 9th position. The 21 of Davis trying to get back underneath. And it looks like Teller has got that 8th position secure. Brant Allen now in the lead. He's walking away very quickly. Brandon Hughes is being passed by Mark Herzog. Let's bring that back for you really quickly here. The 111 runs a little bit wide. The 57 gets underneath him. On the main straightaway here, coming past the line, it's the 57 into turn 1, and he picks up that 2nd position. Back out live. Mark Herzog is still in front of the 111. It looks like Brandon Hughes can keep up with him fairly well. And Brent Allen has got a bit of a distance on him. And the 111 puts 2 wheels underneath that yellow line. That's always a little bit tricky. It can actually upset the car and make it loose. That transition from the banking onto the apron is always a little tricky. Let's check on Jordan Berry here. He's still running in 4th position. He's lost about 2.5 seconds on Hughes, and he's got Samuel Fontaine in the 91 car right behind him. And Jordan Berry once again comfortable on that higher side into turns. And it looks like he just leaves that door open for the 91, but the 91 has got a shorter radius. Ooh, and Berry scrapes the wall there. Let's check on that car. It looks like he's bent up that right rear just a little bit. It doesn't look too bad. Bit of a scrape. It looks like they're struggling for grip a little bit. Let's go back and check on your leader. That's Brent Allen in the 32 car. Mark Herzog still in the 2nd place, and it's Brandon Hughes right behind him. And it's Hughes now it's still in the 3rd position. Jordan Berry. Jordan is almost 3 seconds behind Hughes. Samuel Fontaine and Bradley Miller seem to be closing in on each other, and they're duking it out for 5th and 6th. It looks like Bradley is coming up strong. This is all going to be about preserving your tires and planning what you're going to do. It looks like it's slippery out there. Berry going back high, and it looks like Samuel Fontaine's finally getting that 91 underneath there. Berry comes off the turn a little bit better, and then the 91 dives to the inside here. Coming off the turn, they're side by side on the backstretch. Berry inching ahead, but the 91 has that lower line. The 24 is staying behind the 91, trying to stay with him and prevent the 7 from coming down. And it looks like Samuel has a little bit of an advantage on the lower side into turns, and that looks like Berry comes off the turns. Oh, and now it looks like Berry had a little bit of an issue coming off that final turn there. He slots in behind Bradley Miner in the 6th position. Let's check on your 2nd place driver, the 57 of Herzog. He is about 7/10 of a second ahead of Brandon Hughes, and Brent Allen is still out there on his own in the lead. He is about 1.5 seconds ahead of Herzog. There you see them all three. There's the difference in timing. That's what 1.5 seconds looks like on Richmond Raceway. There's your leader, Brent Allen. Coming into lap 33. Herzog in second. It's Hughes still in third. It's Fontaine now in fourth. Bradley Minor in fifth. And Jordan Berry in sixth. Trying to hang on. Trying to stay with the 24 car. Kevin Anderson is in seventh. It looks like Kevin has passed Matthew Tilder. And then it's Michael Steffen and Jake Brooks for 9th and 10th. It's Jeff Horniak in 11th, and Kevin Davis is your final running car. Brant Allen, your leader, heading into lap 35. And that's still green flag racing from the start. 35 laps of green flag racing with Brandon Hughes taking the lead right at the start and now being put back in third position by Allen and Herzog. Fontaine still in fourth. And Bradley Minor is hanging with Fontaine very well, very nicely. He stays on the back end of that 91 car. That's your fourth and fifth position. Jordan Berry still hanging with them, dropping back about a second now. There you have Kevin Anderson. He's in seventh with Matthew Telder, right behind him. Let's bring back these two here, Samuel Fontaine and Bradley Minor, fighting for fourth and fifth position. And it looks like Bradley Minor is following very nicely, but he's not able to really put the 91 under pressure just yet. That's Jordan Berry in sixth. These are the guys fighting in front of him. And we can ride along here with Bradley really quickly. See how that looks from his perspective. The Pennzoil car in front of him is Samuel Fontaine. Ooh, a little bit oversteer there for Bradley Midler. You saw him countersteer there. It looks to me like these guys are just struggling for grip a little bit. On the main straightaway, yeah, those back ends of those trucks look a little loose to me. But it looks like Bradley Minor has got it under control. He's not going... he's not overdoing it, and it looks like we have one car coming into the pit. That is the 81 of Kevin Anderson, and let's see if that is a routine pit stop. It's going to cost him a lot of time to pit under green, obviously. There he comes. Ooh, it looks like he overshoots his pit. He's got to back it up. That's very costly. And that looks like a routine pit stop. He's getting that second set of tires fairly early. But yeah, he's decided to get some new rubber. Let's get back and check on your leader here. That's Brent Allen in the 32 car. He's about 1.5 seconds ahead of Mark Herzog in the 57 car. There you have him. And we're coming up on back markers now. That looks like the 21 of Kevin Davis that is being lapped. Brandon Hughes is still in third position in the 111 car. Bradley Minor has made a pass on Samuel Fontaine. Let's see if we can find that real quickly. There you have it. He's still behind him here. He comes on the backstretch, gets a better run off turn 2. He pokes it to the inside. The 91 has no choice but to let him go. So Bradley Minor picks up the 4th spot. Samuel Fontaine now in 5th. He seems to be hanging with that 24 good. And it looks like Kevin Anderson is back out on the track. And we're going to see the difference between new tires and old tires here really shortly. You can see 81 is already past Fontaine. It's not for position, but it shows you the difference between old and new tires. And we have the 24 of Bradley Miner now coming into the pits, and Samuel Fontaine is following him and doing the same thing. So looks like we're going to be changing these tires by lap 50, and with as few cars as we have on the track, it's not very likely that we're going to be doing anything under yellow right now. Fontaine and Miner in the pits for their service. Brant Allen still in the lead, working his way past back markers. That looked like the 61, and that's Jeff Horniak. Mark Herzog is still following, and he has closed the gap to Brant Allen to about a second right now. Traffic can definitely be of influence here. Working your way past traffic can cost you some time here and there, and it can gain you some time here and there. It depends a little bit on how well those guys are cooperating with you. And Brandon Hughes is now almost 2 seconds behind Herzog. It's Matthew Telder now in 4th. That's because of the pit stops. And Jordan Berry in 5th. Jake Brooks now in 6th. Michael Steffen in 7th. Horniak is running 8th. Kevin Davis is 9th. Bradley Miller and Samuel Fontaine are now out in 10th and 11th place. So the pit stops are going to cost you significant amount of time, but all that will even out once the other guys get to pit as well. And it looks like that was Bradley Miner, and it looked like Kevin Davis in front of him was scraping that wall a little bit, and it definitely looks like he's struggling a little bit. And let's bring her back up front here. This is Brant Allen. And Brant is now going to be passed by Kevin Davis in that 21 car, the fresher tires versus the older tires. There you see it. It is just easy. And that's Kevin Anderson, the 81 car. And that's how easy it is when you have brand new rubber underneath that car. You can pass cars. So it looks like it's going to become time for Brant Allen to start thinking about new rubber as well. And it might be that some of these guys are thinking, well, the longer I wait, the more chance I have for a yellow. That would definitely help. But it looks like that 81 of Kevin Anderson and 91 of Fontaine and Bradley Miner on fresher tires, they are doing good work here. Their lap times are about a second quicker than the guys in front on the older tires. Jordan Berry now deciding, and Jordan Berry has trouble getting into the pits. He's coming into the pits. He's a little bit fast still, and then he can't get it slowed down quick enough to turn into the pit lane. He scuffs the water barrels, and luckily he's getting ready to find his pit stall. He's got a little bit of a damage on that right front. That shouldn't be too big of an issue. He can try to get it repaired. There's no fast repairs in this race, so he can probably deal with it. There he comes into his pit stall, the number 7 of Jordan Berry. Getting serviced. And let's check back here with your leader. It is still Brant Allen in the 32 in front, with Mark Herzog in the 57 in second position. And Brandon Hughes in third. He is dropping down quite a bit, though, on those older tires. He's now almost 3.5 seconds behind the 57. Matthew Telder hanging on to fourth. Michael Steffen in the 5th position, and Jake Brooks in 6th. Mind you, though, these guys have not yet pitted. The final car that hasn't pitted yet is Jeff Horniak, and all the other cars have pitted. Oh, let me correct that. Kevin Davis has not pitted either, and it looks like Kevin in the 21 car is really struggling for grip on these old tires. The 7 of Jordan Berry is back out now. You saw him go past that 21 like he was standing still. He's catching up with, what is that? That looks like Samuel Fontaine. Jordan Berry is not behind him for position just yet. He's going to have to pass him twice. Entry of the pit has cost Jordan quite a bit of time. The 91 has also pitted, but done so quite a bit earlier than the 7, so he's already got some laps on those tires. And it looks like Jordan Berry is not being hindered too much by that damage. He picks up a position here. Well, actually he doesn't. He still has to go another lap around before he picks up that position from Samuel Fontaine. Let's check on your leader. It's still Brett Allen in front. Mark Herzog a little over a second behind. And Brandon Hughes now almost 5 seconds behind Herzog. So I would think these guys, they should be starting to think about going back into the pits. There we have one of them. And a 32 as well coming into the pits now. And the car behind him, that is, let me see, that is Michael Steffen. So Brant Allen now in the pits. That means that Mark Herzog picks up the lead. Matthew Telder is now in second position. He's about 10 seconds behind Herzog. So Allen getting in for his service. There you have him. Jacked up at the right. I'm sure he's going to take those tires. He will need them. And then it's the 111 of Brandon Hughes. And you can see in your scoring that Fontaine is now a fourth and Miner has picked up third position. The 32 is coming back out of the pits, and having run longer on those older tires has cost him dearly, because the guys in front of him, Miner and Fontaine, they have already pitted and they have picked up positions in front of him now. So by the time we see Herzog and Telder go into the pits, it'll be Bradley Miner that will be picking up the lead. And that's Brant Allen going past the 02. That's Matthew Telder. So, the 32 almost gets it wrong there. You saw him sliding. Let's bring that back for you real quick. Coming off the turn here. A little bit too quickly on the gas. Beautiful save. Good work. Brant Allen does a good job saving that truck. All right. Mark Herzog in the 57 is now coming into the pits. And Telder is still staying out there. And he's the only driver that has not pitted. He picks up the lead. Lap 65. Maybe he's going to try and do this on one stop. And that would benefit him definitely. Not sure how many laps you can do on one fuel stint, but it looks like Telder is going to try to do this on one stop if he can. And there you see the 81. That's Kevin Anderson unlapping himself there from Matthew Telder. It's Bradley Miner, and Bradley is coming under it, is being passed by Jordan Berry, but Jordan Berry has a lap to make up on the 24 car. So he did not pick up a position here. Berry is currently in the 8th position. So Matthew Telder finally decides to go into the pits. If that is the end of his fuel stint, then he is not going to make it without having to stop again. And being out there that long on these worn out tires, that I don't believe is a good choice, because we also see this from Brant Allen. Brant Allen is behind the guys that pitted earlier. So Bradley Miner is your new leader here in the 24 car. Then it's Samuel Fontaine, almost a little over 2 seconds behind Miner. Then it's Brant Allen, less than a second behind Fontaine, but Allen has lost the lead because of staying out longer on those worn tires. Miner and Fontaine went into the pits in lap 45, 15 laps on worn tires for Brent Allen has meant that he has lost 2 positions. Herzog is still behind him. He is now in 4th. Kevin Anderson, with his early pit stop on lap 40, is running 5th. Brandon Hughes is running 6th. Jordan Berry is running 7th. Jake Brooks is running 8th. And Matthew Telder, after his pit stop, comes back in the 9th position and gets it all wrong here. And that looks like that brings out the first caution in the race on lap 70. What a good stint of green flag racing we had here. And I like what it says on the back of his car, urging the people behind him to be patient. And he's also doing a good job here, getting off the racing line, trying to get this thing straightened out. Good job. And I do believe he hangs on to the position right in front of the 61 of Horniak, so Telder is in 9th position. Let's see if there's anybody willing to take a chance here and getting that second set of tires, or that third set I should say, and then hopefully being able to finish the race. So far nobody has come in yet. I'm sure the pits are still closed until we get behind the pace car, sorted it all out. Looks like we have one car getting the wave around. That looks like the 4 car. I'm sorry, he's running with the 57 number, Jake Brooks. And it looks like Miller is trying to show everybody he wants to pit. No, he's not going in. We have no takers as we can see right now. Yes, we do. Jake Brooks is the one that got the wave around. He's going into the pits. That is a good choice because it won't cost him that much. He's going to go to the end of the field anyway. He has one pit stop under his belt as well, so not sure what lap that was on. But he's choosing for his next set of tires. That'll be his final set to use. Lap 73, close to being halfway, and I doubt he will be able to make it on fuel all the way. Miner is holding on to that lead. He is Batman. It's Brent Allen in the 32 that runs in 2nd position. And that looks like, to me, he must have picked up that position from Fontaine. He is now in 3rd in the 91 car. Then it's Herzog in the 57. He is in 4th. The 81 of Anderson. That early pit stop has benefited him clearly. He is now in 5th position. Brandon Hughes is in 6th. Jordan Berry in 7th. Jake Brooks is in 8th. And let's see here. Horniak is in 9th. And it's Ken Davis, Matthew Tilder, and Michael Steffen. And it looks like Hughes is coming. No, he's just faking it. They do that sometimes. They like to throw off the people behind them. One of the older tricks in the book, I would say. It's Miner in the lead. Looks like he's trying to keep some heat in those tires. And the pace car lights are off, so we're going to be going racing here. Brent Allen gets to take the start. There he goes. He gets a little bit of a jump on the 32. Going into turn 1, he is in the lead. And then it's Brent Allen in the 32 car. In second position, it's Samuel Fontaine in the 91 in third. Herzog in the 57 is in fourth. Kevin Anderson, and it looks like Hughes and Anderson are fighting for that fifth and sixth position there. It's the 1-1-1 of Hughes on the higher side. Jordan Berry is in there. He wants to make up for some lost time. And these guys are nicely and close together here. Jordan Berry on the high side. The 81 coming down low now. Kevin Anderson drops back to 7th position, and it's the 21 of Kevin Davis. That is not for position. Let's check on your leader here, because Bradley Minor is now being caught up by Mark Herzog and Brent Allen side by side. They're going to be challenging him for the lead. 57 coming down low, the 24 washing up a little bit, the 32 is holding off, then gets underneath as well. It looks like the 24 is staying high, and it looks like Mark Herzog picks up that lead in the 57 car, and he brings along Brant Allen in the 32. Obviously now the guys that have pitted later, they will be in the advantage now because they haven't worn off those tires too badly yet. It's Brandon Hughes picking up the third spot, and Bradley Miller dropping back to fourth place from the lead. He now is going to have to deal with Samuel Fontaine in the 91, Jordan Berry in sixth position here, and it looks like Jake Brooks is in seventh, also past Kevin Anderson. The guys behind Anderson are the back markers. That's Michael Steffen, Kevin Davis, Matthew Telder. They're not fighting the 81 for position. The 57 of Herzog still in the lead. Brant Allen in second, and it looks like these two guys are walking away from Hughes a little bit. Bradley Minor in fourth. The 91 of Fontaine in fifth. Berry and Jake Brooks fighting for sixth and seventh position. Looks like Brooks is picking up that sixth position. And those back markers, the 21 of Kevin Davis, are also gaining on the 7. It looks like Jordan is struggling a little bit right now. Kevin Davis in the 21 is trying to unlap himself from Jordan Berry. Kevin Anderson is a little bit further back now in the 81 car. He's still running in 8th because those guys were a lap behind him. Herzog still in the lead. Allen dropping back a little bit from the leader, and Brandon Hughes in third, picking up a little bit compared to Allen. Minor in fourth. Fontaine in fifth. And Brooks is closing in on Fontaine really quickly. He's closed that gap from passing Berry all the way to Fontaine in a matter of 2 laps. So the 57 is looking pretty strong here. And he's already taken a look on the inside, not quite close enough. Looks like the 91 is washing up a little bit higher than he wants to. The 57 coming underneath on the main straightaway. Can he poke it in there in turn 1? Yes, he can. It looks like the 57 comes underneath that 91 and passes him fairly easy. So that is, wrong car. That is the 57 of Jake Brooks picking up 5th position. The 91 trying to fight back. It's the 91 now underneath. Let's see if he can return the favor. He's not close enough, and it looks like Jake Brooks is gaining on Minor. Let's ride along here with Minor and look towards the rear. There you're looking at Jake Brooks Ooh, he comes in really hot here. Ooh, let's hope that this is work. He passes him like he is standing still. Unbelievable. And that's how newer tires work for you. Jake Brooks changed his tires on lap 72. He had that wave around. He went into the pits and got tires, so he was on the lead lap when the green flag flew. And on those new tires, he is passing everybody like they're standing still. Now it looks like Fontaine's coming back underneath the 24, and he picks up that 5th position. Let's see if he can hold it. It looks like he can. So Miner has dropped back now from the lead to 6th position. Jordan Berry having a little trouble to keep up with those guys. It's Herzog still in the lead, and it's Brent Allen in 2nd, and it's Hughes in 3rd. And the gaps between those guys are shrinking. Hughes has picked up quite a bit compared to Allen, and Allen looks like he's closing in on Herzog as well. And it's Jake Brooks in 4th position, walking away really quickly from Fontaine, so Brooks is currently most likely one of the quickest cars on the track. Mark Herzog, his last lap was at 23.2, and Brooks's last lap was at 23.3, so it's still Herzog that is the quickest, is quicker than Brooks, but not by much. And Brant Allen is showing equal speed to the 57 car. His last lap was actually a 1/10 of a second quicker. And Brandon Hughes is hanging with these guys as well. So that's your top 3 right there. That's your top 3 right there. There you see the distances on the bottom right of your screen. And that's what that looks like. It looks like Allen is gaining on the leader. And then the 4th car in the picture there, that would be Jake Brooks. And it looks to me like Jake Brooks, you'll see him at the top of your screen just for a flash. Jake Brooks is gaining on the guys in front of him. And that makes perfect sense because his tires are 10 laps newer than the others. All right, let's bring her back a little bit closer here. Herzog, Allen, and Hughes. That's your leaders. Looking back at Brent Allen in the 32 car, and then a little bit further back, you see the 111. Ooh, the 32 coming in low and hot. It looked like the 57 was a little bit wide there. There's not much between these guys. Similar lap times. We're on lap 98. And we're going to have to start thinking about the fuel situation because having pitted on lap 64 for Mark Herzog, I do not believe he will be able to do this on the fuel he has. I would be surprised if he did. Brant Allen in the 32 car. And Brandon Hughes is having a little bit more trouble keeping up. And it looks like Jake Brooks is about 4 seconds behind now. We'll have to keep an eye on that gap and see how he compares. Obviously, that advantage of fresher tires will rub off after about 10, 15 to 20 laps. So it equals out pretty quickly, but if you do have a chance to pit early, like Jake did, as he took that wave around, he went into the pits, got new tires, and it gained him quite a bit. Samuel Fontaine is in 5th. Miner has got a little bit of trouble keeping up with him. Then you see the 669, he is a lap down. He's in 12th position. Then you see Jeff Horniak, he's in 10th, also a lap down. Then you see Jordan Berry, and Jordan Berry is seeing the 21. Ooh, the 21 looks pretty beat up at the back end there. The 21 is also a lap down, so that is not for position. What is for position is this, the 57 of Mark Herzog and the 32 of Brant Allen. And having pitted on lap 64 for Herzog and Allen on lap 60, that means that those tires have already taken quite a beating, and the lap times do show that they're in the middle 23s. 23.4 for the leader, 23.4 for Brant Allen in the second place, a 23.5 for Brandon Hughes. So those tires are not working as well anymore as they used to. And Jake Brooks's tires, even though they're 10 laps newer, they are also falling off. It looks like Jordan Berry is the first one to jump into the pits. It's lap 104. He does it right this time. He's coming in from 8th position. Into his pit stall. And I'm fairly sure he's going to not worry about the damage because he had good enough pace to go on without taking too much time in the pits, especially on the green flag pit stop. There he goes. He's back out. He's got new tires and he's got fuel to the end. And regardless of whether we would get yellow or not, it's always good to be the last man, or it's always good to be the first man that does the last pit stop. Because whenever the other ones go in, you'll still be running. Okay, so Jordan Berry is now in 8th. Didn't lose too much. Herzog is still in the lead. Brant Allen is still about a half a second behind. It's Hughes in 3rd, now a little over 2 seconds behind Allen. Then it's Jake Brooks in the 4th position, over 5 seconds between Hughes and him. Samuel Fontaine is in 5th. In the 91 car. He is about 2 seconds behind Brooks, and then a little bit closer between Fontaine and Miner in 6th. Kevin Anderson, the 81, also coming into the pits. And he's done quite a long stint on his tires. Lap 109. And the 02 of Matthew Telder is in 9th position here. Jordan Berry picks up 7th because Kevin is in the pits. Telder picks up 8th. And it's still Herzog in the front. Looks like Brant Allen is closing in on him now. Yes, definitely. The 32 is definitely closing in on the 57. What are they going to do? Are they thinking about pitting yet? Their tires are old. It wouldn't make too much sense to wait that much longer. We're on lap 112, so we're talking 39, 40 laps. Looks like Jordan Berry on newer tires is going to unlap himself. He's got a little bit more speed than the leaders here. Ooh, coming off the turn a lot better. Let's see if he can put it underneath that 32. Yes, indeed. Once again, that's not for position. He is a lap down because of his pit stop, so he's just working on gaining some lap back. The 21 washing up high there, that's Kevin Davis. The leaders put another lap on him, and Jordan Berry takes back 1 lap from Mark Herzog. Herzog's still in the lead. Looks like Fontaine and Miner going into the pits at the exact same time once again. And like I said, it would make a lot of sense for all these guys. Make that final pit stop, get it out of the way, and be on fresh tires. We've seen how it can hurt you when you stay out too long on old tires. Think of Brent Allen when he was in the lead and dropped back 4 positions because of staying out longer on old tires. But for now, it's Mark Herzog and Brent Allen staying out there, as is Brandon Hughes and Jake Brooks. And their lap times are climbing up more and more. 23.6, 23.6, 23.6, and Brooks' last lap was a 23.9. It looks like Fontaine and Miner, are back out again. They only lost the position to Jordan Berry, so the field has been stretched out quite a bit. We've had a lot of green flag racing here. And there's your leader, Mark Herzog, still up front, and Brent Allen is closing in on him. And just like Jordan Berry, the guys that have pitted, ooh, and it looks like Fontaine scrapes the wall there, but they're looking a lot stronger on those newer tires. So once again, I would not stay out there all that long. It's not that far anymore. Well, lap 118, so we're talking 33 laps only. They took their last pit stop on lap 60, so those tires, it would make that. And it looks like the Pennzoil car, the 91, is passing the leader. That's not for the lead, that's just to get his lap back. Berry has already done so, and Miner is going to be doing the same. Miner has already passed Brent Allen. Lap 120 now. They've got as many laps on these tires as they had on them the first time. It would start making sense to think about pitting. And then your third set will only have to do less than 30 laps. The 24 going underneath the leader picks up his lap. Herzog is still the leader. Brent Allen is still in second. Hughes is still in third, a little over 5 seconds. And Jake Brooks is still in fourth. He has not made his second pit stop either. Well, actually he has, but not his final one. Brooks has pitted last on lap 72, so his tires are a little bit newer than the leaders, but not by much. And having pitted on lap 72, I doubt that he will make it on fuel. But that might be what he's trying to do. Alright, so it's Berry in fifth with Fontaine and Miner behind him. Miner has dropped back a little bit. Kevin Anderson in the 81 is in 8th. It's Matthew Teller in 9th. Jeff Honyak is in 10th. Kevin Davis is running 11th. And Michael Steffen is in 12th. And there you see Brandon Hughes going into the pits for his final pit stop. He's the first one of the 3 leaders to come in. Herzog and Allen are still out there. And it looks like it seems to take forever to get down that pit road, but it's not as bad, as the modifies had in Bristol. Right tire's done. Left side getting changed. And it looks like Hughes has lost only 1 position right now. No, he's going to lose a position to Miner as well. Nope, he holds off Miner. That's good. That's good. So Fontaine and Berry have passed Hughes. He's now in 6th position. Let's check on your leaders, Herzog and Allen. They're duking it out and fighting for the lead. And still not looking to come on to pit road. And those tires are getting old, I can tell you. We're on lap 127. Well, he's having trouble passing the 81 there. That's Kevin Anderson in 8th position. It's almost like they just don't want to pit, and they're waiting for that yellow, and that is here. The yellow is here. Let's see what happened. Oh my gosh, it's the guy that just pitted, the 111 of Brandon Hughes. Let's see what happened to him. Here he comes. It's going into turn 1, into turn 2, and he gets on the gas a little bit too early and loses the back end, noses it into the wall. It looks like he'll be in good shape. And also, having trouble finding reverse here. And he does a good job staying out of everybody's way. So that brings out your caution. And obviously now is the time for Herzog and Allen to be pitting. And this is going to help them. And it's not just the top two. It's also Jake Brooks coming into the pits. And those will be their final pit stops. They'll have less than 20 laps to go when we get back to green. They'll be on the freshest tires. And I'm pretty sure that being able to pit under yellow here is going to be a huge advantage for these guys. Let's see where they come out. Mark Herzog is the first one getting back underway. He beats the 32 out. And it looks like he doesn't even give up the lead. So that is the advantage of yellow pit stops as opposed to green flag pit stops. They stay in the lead. And it looks like Jake Brooks is having a little bit more trouble in the pits. Now he's coming out. He has lost the position to Samuel Fontaine. So this is an interesting turn of events here with the and I was trying to talk them into the pits, but they took the right decision. They waited as long as they could, waiting for that yellow, and it came. And that's what's going to help them now. But it looks like Herzog and Allen will be on the freshest tires. Fontaine has pitted on lap 113, so his tires are already, what is it, close to 20 laps old. Jake Brooks is on fresh tires in 4th. Then it's Bradley Minor in 5th. Jordan Berry is in 6th. Kevin Anderson in 7th. And Matthew Telder is in 8th. Then it's Horniak in 9th. He took tires as well on lap 128 here. He's a lap down. Brandon Hughes is coming back out. He had to make another pit stop, unfortunately. So he will have lost a lap on the leaders. Kevin Davis in the 21 is still going on. And Michael Steffen is in 12th, also still running strong. He's a lap behind Davis. Interesting turn of events here. Less than 20 laps to go. Herzog on brand new tires in the lead. Brant Allen in 2nd on brand new tires. Jake Brooks. Looks like Jake Brooks is in front of Samuel Fontaine. He's in 3rd on brand new tires. So the top 3 guys pitted under yellow have brand new tires, and everybody behind them is on older tires. And what puzzles me a little bit is that Samuel Fontaine, being on the lead lap, he could easily get tires as well. He won't lose that much. The field is not that big. And it looks like the lights on the pace car have already been turned off. And some of the guys are still catching up to the field there. We are already racing. It's Herzog in front with Allen in 2nd. Jake Brooks challenging there. The top 3 drivers on fresh tires. We're going to have a battle for the lead here. Brooks already challenging Brant Allen on the inside. That's for second position. 32 is running strong coming off the turn. Staying on that higher side. The 57 underneath him. Jake Brooks challenging for the second position. Then it's Samuel Fontaine in the 91. He's got a back marker in front of him. And it looks like Jake Brooks has passed Brant Allen. Let's bring that back for you really quickly here. There you have it. He's coming underneath. Onto the backstretch. He takes up second position. It looked like the 32 was wiggling off the turn there a little bit. Brant Allen now trying to come back. Coming underneath the 57. Can he get it in there? Yes, he can. Side by side. Coming off turn 2 onto the backstretch. Another wiggle from the 32. Those tires maybe not on temperature just yet. He picks back up that second position from Jake Brooks. And it looks like Herzog is almost a second ahead of them. And Fontaine has passed that back marker, or has he? No, he has not. That is, if I see correctly, the 61 of Herniak. And that 61 is quicker than Fontaine because he is on new tires as well. So he's keeping up with the leaders, but he is a lap down. Herzog still in the front, and it's Allen in second still. Jake Brooks took that second position there for a bit, but can't keep up now. Fontaine in the 4th position. Miner in the 5th position. It's Kevin Anderson in the 6th position, and Jordan Berry in the 7th position. He is right behind the 111 of Hughes. That is not for a position. Hughes is a lap down. And the distances between the 3 leaders are growing. There you see them in front. At least 2 to 3 car lengths between them now. They're all on fresh tires. We have 10 laps to go, folks. And these guys got lucky. They stayed out as long as they could. They waited on that yellow and they got it. Herzog, Allen, and Brooks. The distances between the guys are growing. Let's ride along here with Brooks. Looking at the back end of Brant Allen's car. Oh, beautiful save. He comes off the turn and loses the back end and saves it beautifully. Let's bring that back from the outside here. Look at that. Ooh, drifting off the turn on the back stretch. He saves it. That's good driving. Fontaine being challenged by the 21 car of Kevin Davis. Kevin Davis also on fairly new tires. The 91 has tires that are about 10 to 12 laps older. He's still hanging on to 4th position, and the 21 just wants his lap back. And behind the 21, it's the 669 of Michael Steffen. He's also further down in the order. He's another lap down. Mark Herzog still in the lead. There we have him, the top 3. Lap 146. We are 5 laps from the end. Ooh, and somebody is in trouble here. That's the 02 of Matthew Telder. Let's see what's going on here. Ooh, he loses it trying to slow it down for the pits. And then he runs it into the wall and Maybe he wasn't even trying to get into the pits. Let's bring it back a little bit further. He comes off of turn 2. Well, it looks like he's trying to get into the pits and just kind of loses it. All right, let's go back and check on Mark here. He's still leading. Lap 148. Brant Allen in second, Jake Brooks in third. Lap 149, we just have 2 more laps to go. Mark Herzog is about a second clear of Brant Allen, and Jake Brooks is a little bit closer to Allen, it looks like, but is it close enough? Just 2 laps to go. It's Fontaine in fourth. Miner is in fifth. Anderson in sixth. Barry in seventh. Big gaps between those guys, so let's bring her back up front here. The white flag is out. Herzog in the lead. Allen and Brooks. Not much between them, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough for the 57 to try anything. There you have it, the 57 of Mark Herzog brings it home in first position. He wins the first race of the new season for the Short Track Super League Truck Series on Thursday night. Well done. Brant Allen brings it home in second. It's Jake Brooks in third. Then it's Samuel Fontaine in a 91 in fourth. It's Bradley Miner in fifth. And it's Kevin Anderson in sixth. It's Jordan Berry in seventh. Jeff Horniak in eighth. Brandon Hughes, oops, looks like they're not willing to play nice here. Kevin Davis is 10th. And let's bring up your race results here. There you have them. Herzog, Allen, and Brooks is your top 3 finishers. Let's see if we can find our leader here and see if he wants to do some rubber burning for us. It looks like they're just gently parking him here for us. And let's go see if we can find them to talk to. And I can't seem to find Mark. Nope, I can't find him. Let's see here. Let's see, I did see Brant here somewhere. Hi, Brent. This is Mark in the booth. You seem to be the only one in the top 3 that I can find here. it, it looked like you guys you had a very strong start. You were in the lead there in the beginning. Then the first pit stops came and you stayed out quite long. And after you finally pitted, it looked like you had lost some positions to fourth. Did you stay out too long? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of, it's where that caution fell. I mean, if it stayed green, I think it would have cycled out fine because those guys that had short pitted were already kind of dropping back. But unfortunately, that caution fell and it kind of put us behind them. But really, man, Mark just had a rocket on the short run, and that's kind of what got us there. He was on rails for the first 20 laps, and then once the tires wore out, I could kind of reel him back in.
And then it kind of looked like a reverse situation in the final part of the race. You guys stayed out long again, and I was kind of, talking like, maybe you're staying out too long and think about what happened in the beginning of the race, and then you had that yellow fall exactly on the right time. You guys went in and you didn't even lose the leading positions, having pitted under yellow. That was obviously a great break there for you.
Yeah, man. My plan there, and I think Mark's too, was we were going to run it till the cord started showing at that point 'cause we had enough fuel. So we could have made it to the end if the caution didn't fall. I was just going to kind of ride it out and see if I couldn't get by him on that long run.
You had enough fuel to make it to the end?
Yeah, yeah, we had a. I had a. I use Joel real time, and I was about 3 laps to the good there.
Wow, that's amazing because you guys pitted, I think, a lap 64 that first time. So, man, that would be a pretty good fuel stint. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think it was about like 109 laps on a fuel load. There is what we were getting.
wow, that's pretty long. I wouldn't have thought it would be that long. I kind of was thinking, everybody. I think Jake was the last one to pit on lap 72 or something like that. So that kind of tells me, that's probably the best you can do on fuel. But evidently, I was wrong there. So wow, good race, man. Once again, congratulations on that second position. It looked like you had a good break there. Did you have anything left for Mark there at the end? Do you think?
Man, that last restart, we were all slipping and sliding and putting it all out there. So, if I was able to clear Jake, I might have been able to do something with him. But once Jake got by me, I kind of knew we were gonna have to settle for second.
I hear you. All right, I'm not sure if Verard is the man I want to talk to. Mark, is that you?
Yes, sir. That's me.
Okay. Well, the situation for you is kind of similar to Brent's. You guys were fighting for the lead. I think you already had the lead in the beginning. You stayed out quite long. You didn't pit until lap 64. It looked to me like you guys were losing a lot of time to the guys that pitted earlier, and so I was kind of wondering why you did that.
Yeah, I pitted, but I know a lot of guys pitted early, and I was hoping with the 30 laps or so that were left that at that time that they wouldn't be able to make up the 22-second lap time.
And then right here at the end, it basically went the same way, but it turned in your favor when that yellow came out, didn't it?
Yeah, I was hoping to go, just going to hope it all go green, like I said, and hopefully they couldn't run me down with the lead that we had. But we got the fortunate yellow, and we were able to get the tires and hold our spots.
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to ask you guys is, it looked to me, I followed a little bit of the practice. I came in at about 10 minutes before you guys went to qualifying. It looked like everybody was just really loose.
Yeah, took about 5 to 7 laps for the back end to settle down, and after that, it was pretty good to go. But yeah, you couldn't really push too hard on the first 5 laps or so.
You think that has something to do with a cold track? The track was only like 78 Fahrenheit, which is fairly cold, and it kind of feels like the tires take too long to get in, to get warmed up.
It might have been that. It might have been a little oversteery, but once you adjusted for that, you're good to go. If you just rode it through, let it roll the first couple of 3 laps and through the corners, you'd be good.
I see. All right, Mark. Well, once again, congratulations. First win in a new season for a short track Super League in the trucks here on Thursday night. That's a good start, and a good start is half the job, don't you think?
Oh, most definitely. And I got to thank the guys that are running the league. It's nice to be back. This is my first race back after a shoulder surgery about 6 weeks ago, so could not ask for a better result. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I hope it wasn't too bad, but it evidently it wasn't because you're right up there.
But thank you. Thank you for putting on an awesome broadcast.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here. So, third place finisher Jake Brooks there. You in that final stint after you guys got tires, it looked like you still had something for Brent, and then he passed you back, and it seemed like that was kind of it. What happened?
Yeah, I was fighting internet issues all night. Had to get that early EOL and started in the rear. So I just had to get play strategy just to be able to get up back into the front. And that last caution is what saved me, but I didn't have anything for those guys up there. I got loose, and once he got by me, I knew I was done. I kept overdriving it.
Now, if I remember correctly, a little bit before that, you had the wave around and you went in for tires. I believe on lap 72, you pretty much drove by everybody like they were standing still. Is that correct?
Yeah, I took 4 tires the first time. I only took right sides to be able to get that lucky dog, and when I came around, that's when I took the left side. So my right sides were a little wore, but it did help a lot for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that kind of brought you back into, what was it, third or fourth or something like that, and that really set you up for that final spurt to the finish.
Yeah, it was fourth, and then I had the only shot that I had was to stay out until the leaders pitted and then pit the very right after them. But when that yellow flag, it kind of saved me on being on the lead lap for sure.
Absolutely. Well, it saved you, and it saved both Mark and Brent as well, because they didn't lose a position while a green flag pit stop was like what, a lap and a half down or something like that.
Yeah, almost 2 for sure. It was bad. I didn't want to do it.
I hear you, man. Well, congratulations, all three of you. Podium finish here in Richmond, first race of the season. Great results. It was fun to watch. It might not have been a huge field, but that made for a lot of good green flag racing. Like I said, it looked like you guys all were fighting those cars a little bit in the beginning, and it got better as you got going. So congratulations, all three. We hope next race will be at least as good as this one. And go out and celebrate. If there's anybody that wants to throw in some love yous or thank yous, this would be the time to do it.
Oh yeah, hey, thanks for the great broadcast, man. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're most welcome, man. It's great to be part of this. I like races like this, especially if there's not that many incidents, we get to see a bunch of good green flag racing. Absolutely.
For sure. Thanks again, man.
All right, thank you, Jake, and thank you, Mark. Thank you, Brent, and that'll have to do it for tonight. We saw 2 great races here in
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
in the league. Yes. Thank you, man. The short track Super League. We saw the modifieds earlier this evening. We saw the trucks here tonight at Richmond. And once again, let's bring them back for you. That's Mark Herzog on the first position. Brant Allen is your second place finisher. Jake Brooks is the third place finisher. That's your podium finishers here tonight. Next week, we're going to be racing the trucks in North Wilkesboro. Also a short track. That's all of the tracks in this race, obviously. Short track Super League. It'll be close racing once again in the trucks. And we hope that you will join us there. We are going to do all of this with 2 races every Thursday night. We start at about 6:30, a little bit before 6:30, excuse me, Eastern time, and it'll be back-to-back races every Thursday night throughout the season. We hope you will join us then for both these races. The modifieds will be going to the Five Flag Speedway. The trucks will be going to North Wilkesboro. We hope to see you there. Thank you.